Really short. Good evening, all. Welcome to the online session of the Safety Week. After a really successful safety day on Sunday, we decided to ask Taf to host or to hold an online session about the work he has done on mental health and skydiving, partly based on his own research and experiences. I won't make the introduction too long, as Taf can do this much better than I am. So Taf, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to just say thank you very much. I've got some housekeeping rules. My name's Peter Taf Mather. And first of all, if you've got any questions throughout this, you can just chuck them in the chat. And at the end or at certain points in the seminar, we will answer the questions. Or if you, if you would like to save the question and just write it down and then ask me directly, that's also, I'm very happy to do that. I'm more than happy with that. I actually do enjoy speaking to individual people quite often and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do with the questions and answers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. I apologize if I get this wrong because I'm not really technical about it. And then we're going to start the seminar. And the seminar is called Life Happens to Us, Not For Us. It is a seminar based on my life and the way I have done what I have done and changed my life in the past 2 years. I hope this works. There we go. Okay, as you can see, my name is Peter Taf Mather, and this is Life Happens to Us, Not For Us. Okay, so introduction. I've been in skydiving for 14 years. I've traveled all over the world representing Great Britain. I'm a four-way jumper. I do flocking, and I'm a drop zone owner. I'm an AFF instructor. And I used to be a tandem instructor as well. I'm also a coach, and I teach a lot of different people across the world in skydiving. I have numerous amounts of businesses in the UK that is not revolved in skydiving. And that also put a lot of pressure on me in my day-to-day life and where my life was going at the time. And I've been very fortunate in a lot of aspects with my family, and my mum is online right now. Hi mum, love you. But also that put a lot of pressure on me in a lot of aspects to do with work, family life and everything else. So I started skydiving 14 years ago. I started in the UK. I then went out to Spain with my AFF instructors from the UK to finish my AFF course off with them out there. In fairness, if I hadn't have paid up front for skydiving and the AFF course, I don't think you probably would have been seeing me here now. Because at the beginning, skydiving I didn't feel was for me. I got into skydiving for one reason and well, two reasons, sorry. The first reason was to lose weight. I used to be 17.5 stone, which is about 115 kilos. And at that point, before I started skydiving, I was a cocaine addict and a drug and a alcoholic. And that was pretty much 18 years ago at that point. And I started skydiving because of the reason I thought this was going to stop everything. And where did it go wrong and why did it go wrong? The reasons it went wrong, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, and this is based on my life story about where I've been and where I've come from, is actually in some aspects it enhanced my drug and alcohol addiction in a lot of aspects. Understandably, we all know that drinking is part of skydiving. We have beer fines in place, or we finish in the bar and, you know, it's nice at the times, or used to be nice at the time, for people to have a drink together. and it was quite a party scene. So actually, when I got into the sport, I didn't really know that about it, and I just fell back into the trap. So at the age of 21, I had a heart attack, and I started skydiving after that. And that was a drug overdose of cocaine. And what I've done on the research, just so you know about this, and this is why I piece skydiving with drugs and alcohol, is from the research that I've done, the science behind what skydiving gives us with our indoor scenes, when it absolutely ramps it right up like this, when we jump out of an airplane and we get really excited about it. And then after doing a full day's jumping, we finish and then we feel exhausted, and our serotonin levels have dropped so much that we actually feel depressed. And that is exactly the same as when you take drugs. The serotonin level of being slammed is exactly the same as ecstasy, otherwise known as MDMA. And I've done the research and science on this as well and looked into it. And the reason why I think, for me anyway, personally, and maybe for other people out there, why skydiving slightly kind of enhanced that drug and alcohol point for me, was that I was always looking for that kind of high again. So I was kind of like skydiving a lot. I was in a lot of four-way teams. That was giving me a lot of highs. And then when I was finishing, my self-esteem and my serotonin levels were being slammed. So what was I trying to do then is I was trying to pick them back up by drinking and drugs. And from that point there, I then got into a very, very bad rut. And at the end of 2020, so at the end of 2020, just after I'd bought the drop zone Sky High skydiving, I attempted suicide twice. And at that point, I was actually clean on around about 6 weeks. So I'd been clean, but my whole self-esteem and my whole realization of buying a drop zone, being in slight debt, being COVID had happened, and it was just a massive build-up inside of me where I couldn't cope. I literally couldn't cope, to the point that I just wanted to not be here. And I'm not going to go into detail in that, but understandably, in the past probably 3 to 4 years, I've lost quite a few people from suicide. And this is one of the reasons why I've now started to do these talks on this. I'm moving forward and trying to change people's lives and get away from either drug addiction, alcohol addiction, suicide, depression, anxiety, and just trying to create people's lives to become an amazing life. Do I have an amazing life now? Yes, I do. I have been completely and utterly clean for over 2 years. I have a fantastic work ethic. I have a fantastic relationship now. I have a fantastic family, and everything that I now have all comes from in here, and it's from how I did it. And how I did it is, I'm going to explain that right now to you. So how did I change my life? It all starts with wanting to change. And this was the biggest thing for me as a human, to understand that there was many a times, and there may be people out there that say this, to themselves, oh, this is me. You accept me as I am, and that's it, And I used to do that all the time. And I'd be like, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change for anybody. I'm not going to change for this. I enjoy doing this. And actually, I didn't enjoy doing it. So the first thing I did after accepting that I wanted to change was the biggest thing for me ever as a male. And this was, I started talking about my problems to people, and I started to go and get help, like really badly. Like I went to counselors who they started to help me there and understand who I was. I then got personal lifestyle coaches involved. I went on some seminars. One of my kind of mentors and guru that I look up to is a guy called Tony Robbins. If you've not met him, heard of him, he is an American guy who's the leading researchist on personal lifestyle coaching and changing over, right now, if I'm not mistaken, over 25 million people's lives across the world. And that just started to help me massively. And if I've got any advice for anybody on this call at all, is there is nothing wrong with asking for help at all. Like, that is the key thing for me ever. I speak to people all the time about if I've got issues, even now, even though my issues are a lot less or anything else. But there's a lot of people that'll bottle things up, problems, and they don't release it. And especially as a man, we are told as a young child not to talk about it. Don't talk about it. Be quiet. Get on with it. Grow a set. Get on, move on with it. So what I'm definitely going to say to everybody is, if you ever just want to talk, right, just drop me a message. Drop your mate a message. Drop whoever you want a message and just say, are you all right? Just say no. Just seriously, when someone says, how are you? Just say, no, I'm not all right. Have you got time to talk? And that will release so much built up pressure inside massively. One of the next things I started to do after talking to people was started to listen to books, started to listen to seminars, just about how we kind of develop as human beings. Because unfortunately, when we come into this world, our parents do the best possible things that they can do for us as children, but we don't come with a book. We don't actually come with a manual to say, hey, this is how life should be. This is what we should do. This is the time we should do it. And this is where it should be done at this point. So we kind of just go through life not really knowing, in my opinion, how life should be done, except by what our parents have told us, or our friends have told us, or our work colleagues, or stuff like that. And that's what we call programming. So what I started to do is unprogram what I believed at that point. So I started to unpick all the things that I've been programmed to think about as a child, all the things I've programmed to think about as an adult, i.e. it was cool to drink. It was the only way I could have a good time. It was cool to do this. It was cool to do that. And also it was cool to be a yes man, which I used to be, which was what I mean by being a yes man is I started just saying yes to everything at one point and not saying no. And one of the most important words I actually use now is the word no. And it's because if I don't really want to do something, instead of just saying yes, I just say no instead. And then what I did from there is, once I started unpicking all this and started understanding what the human body was all about, what the universe was about, the way the universe works, and believing in what I'm doing is correct and not being scared and fearful of it, I then started to make some new routines, new rituals, and new habits. And this is one of the big things that really, really changed my life. And it was creating good routines, good habits, and good routines, good rituals, and good habits. Because we've all got the bad routines, the bad rituals, and the bad habits that sometimes we can't feel like we can't break them. So how do you break them? And it's all about pressing the stop button when, example, you're eating too much food, or you can't go to the gym, or you can't get out of the bed. And it's all about pressing the stop button and saying, right, okay, I'm going to make some new routines, new rituals, and good new habits. And the first one I did was having self-respect and working on this every single day of the week. And that self-respect is about me, about how I talk about myself, the power of wording, as in, if I am talking in a very high active, high energy way, where I'm like, yes, okay, here we go. The day is buzzing, right? We're going good. Or if I talk like this and I'm not feeling too good, all of a sudden what I'm doing there is I'm creating no self-worth and no belief in myself. So if people on here, some people will know me on here, hopefully, especially my mum, and I've seen Owen on here. who's a friend of mine. They all know that the favorite word that I use when somebody asks me if I'm okay, how are you, is I'm amazing. And I really am. I really feel every day of the week when I wake up, after getting out of bed, I feel absolutely amazing. I'm going to talk about the habits and routines later on about how do I create that. It's all about creating a inner energy, and everything starts from high energy. You cannot be in a bad mood or in a good mood with high energy. If you have low energy, by all means, you will be in a bad mood. You will be not in a good mood. You will be miserable. You will feel rubbish. But if we start creating high energy and moving forward, then that's how we then get into this amazing mood, and we create this mass amounts of high energy. And you've heard me say high energy a lot because I really believe in that. You know, our days are like a book. And this statement here that's on the screen, you may be thinking, what does he mean by that? Right? And if you read a book or listen to a book or a good film, right, it always starts with a really good start, right? Always starts with some action or some romance or whatever it is. And then it always finishes with a really good ending to the book or a film or whatever it is. But the middle bit, we kind of don't really remember that much. So, and this is very much like life. Like if you create a good start to your morning and your good start to your day, and you finish it on a really good day as well, by doing the same routines, rituals, and habits every single day, doesn't matter what happens in the middle, you still will have an amazing day without fail. And it's very easy to do these. Like it's super easy, and I'm being deadly serious. It's super easy to do them, but it's also, and this is where I fall into that trap sometimes, super easy not to do them. It's super easy not to get out of bed at the same time. It's super easy not to eat the right foods. It's super easy not to do the 15 minutes to 5 or the 30 minutes for fulfillment. And it's so easy not to do them, but it is also dead easy to do them. So why do I do them? It's because they make me feel amazing, and they really do. They really, honestly, hand on heart, make me feel amazing. And also what comes with that is, if anybody's ever been around me on here, they know that I create good energy and we have a laugh, and it's great, and it's good to be around me. And I love being around high energy people. So I'm going to talk about my morning routines right now. So this is one of the key factors that I really believe in, and everything starts from a belief. If you don't believe something won't work, it will not work. If you believe it, then it will start to become true. And I learned this a long time ago from a book called The Secret, and I didn't think that it would work. I didn't believe that these morning routines would work for me, and I was thinking, yeah, whatever, okay, this doesn't work. And then I just stuck with them, and I do them as regular and as rigid as possible, because I know that they work. As sometimes they are super difficult for me in my head to do. So the first thing I do realistically is I try and wake up at the same time every day. Now, in winter, which we're in right now, it's scientifically proven, just to let you know, that the biology of our body will make us sleep longer in winter because it's darker for longer. So I tend to set a time in winter for like 6:37, maybe 6:30, and I have a 30-minute window. And then in the summer, I'm more like 4:30, 5:30, there or thereabouts in the morning. Now, in the winter, the girlfriend absolutely loves me because of the fact that I spend more time in bed. But in the summer, she particularly doesn't like me because I'm up and I'm moving like within, like as soon as I wake up, I'm kind of moving very quickly. from the, so the first thing I do is set a time that I want to get up pretty much every day of the week, right? And then I do 5 minutes to 10 minutes of gratefulness and gratitude and meditation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation. If people don't either believe in it or don't think it works, or they don't think that they can do it, I will 100% promise you, when you start to meditate, right, and be grateful, do gratefulness and gratitude, your life will seriously start to change. Like, I didn't believe in all this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and since believing in it and starting to do it, I have become completely clean from drugs and alcohol. I've got an amazing relationship. I've got an amazing family. Work is amazing now, and I really am. And the word again is amazing, but I'm going to use it. So if you have problems thinking that you can meditate, then just do 2 minutes a day, or even a minute, and then just build on that and just keep building on it, and just don't give up. Just keep believing in it. And what it tends to do is it quietens the mind off, and it just gives you a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to then just become quiet in yourself. You know, how many times we wake up in the morning, and this is the reason why I do it right in the morning, is because how many times we wake up and if the alarm's gone off, we're like, oh my God, why do I have to get up? Oh my God, what have I got to do now? Or we pick our phone up and we look at our phone straight away and we're like, oh my God, I've got to do this today. I've got to do that today. And now all of a sudden we've created a lot of inner pressure and a lot of fear inside our bodies about what the day ahead is going to be. Because now we're already thinking way ahead of the day instead of just thinking about the moment. And you have to think about that moment right at the beginning of the day to get the best start out of it, for my opinion. So I sit there and I clear the mind, and I just literally lie there, clear the mind for 5 minutes. And then I start saying what I'm grateful for. And what I say I'm grateful for is grateful for being here, grateful for the opportunities I have in life. And this could be anything you want it to be. I say I'm grateful for my mom and my dad and my girlfriend, and then certain people in my life at that point. Like, understandably, this morning, believe it or not, I said it. I'm very grateful for Hans and Phil, because they're giving me this opportunity to do this seminar. So I'm very grateful for that. And then I go into gratitude about what I'm the gratitude of me. So I release any kind of fear that I have for the day, and then I'll let it go. And I'm like, okay, no fear for today. Today is going to be an amazing day. I tell myself this every day. It's going to be an amazing day. And I visualize what I am going to do for that morning or for that day to a point where I already know where my plan is. So then I go, okay, right, it's going to be, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do my 15 minutes to 5. I'm going to make my bed, and then I'm going to get in the cold shower, and I visualize that. And I'm like, right, okay, I'm ready to go. And I jump out of the bed and I do something called the 5-second rule. And this is from a lady called Mel Robbins. Again, she's a motivational speaker, but she deals very much in logical thinking. So she deals in like the science behind the brain. And she invented this thing called the 5-second rule, where you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she's proven through Harvard that your brain actually has 5 seconds to react on something you don't want to do. And if you don't do it within that 5 seconds, you've got more chance of not doing it. So you've got a lot of chance of, like, way more chance of failing at that task than if you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just crack on. And then when I jump out of bed, the first thing I do is pretty much just start doing star jumps in the middle of the room, just to get the body moving for about literally 30 seconds. Just jumping up and down, clapping the hands, getting the feet going, getting the body moving around like this, and really just getting the blood flow going in the body. And then I make my bed. I never used to make my bed for absolute years, and my mum can verify this 100%. And I make the bed, and I tell you the reason behind making the bed is because for me, that is the most tedious task ever. I just think it's like, I think it's just like kind of a waste of time, realistically, personally, you know. And I'm like, this is like, oh my God, this is making a bed. It's tedious. But then once I complete that first tedious task, which I don't particularly like, every other task in the day is way easier for me. Every day. And then at the end of the night, at least I get to get into a nice, good bed. And then the rest of the morning seems to go with, I do something called 15 minutes to thrive or 30 minutes to a fulfillment or a power hour, which sometimes, by the way, I don't complete this because maybe I'm running a little bit late for something, or I haven't got enough time, or I haven't had enough sleep. So all I tend to do is just about getting the body moving. And it's all about creating that high energy that I talked about earlier on. And when you create the high energy, you can't not create high energy without doing a lot of movement and a lot of like talking or breathing or moving, or and that's one of the things that really gets me going. Like as soon as I get that going, and that could just be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but I tend to try and do the 15 minutes all the time. And the next one is cold water. Cold water, if you've not looked into it, is the best thing that you can do for your body and your mind. First of all, it's about doing something that we call being the gatekeeper of our minds, because I don't know if anybody's ever done cold water therapy, but to be brutally honest, it's not particularly that nice at the beginning. And I do it just because I want to be the gatekeeper of my mind. And when my mind's going, Peter, Taf, you don't want to get in this cold water right now, I'm going, yes, I do. And you're not telling me what I'm doing, because I want to get in it. As much as I know this is going to be potentially quite painful at the beginning, it's going to make me feel better. And again, once I've done it, it's a completion of like this high energy keeps going then. And I'm like, right, boom. Then my day can do whatever it actually wants from there. And I can just still feel absolutely awesome going through it. And then one of the big things that I tend to do after that is, which I haven't put down here, sorry, is I text someone in the morning, or I ring someone in the morning just to tell them like how much they're doing an amazing job if I've been working with them, or if I know that they've done something, a really big achievement or something like that. Or I'll just send someone a loving message just saying, just want to let you know that I'm here for you if you need me, if you ever want to talk. And that's just getting that kind of passion of, you know, help and helping someone, and or people in general. You know, it could be anything in the street. Like, you don't need to give money. You don't need to give anything. Just saying to somebody, hey, I'm here if you need to talk, or how's your day doing? You know, that costs nothing. That actually costs nothing except your time, you know, and you can create time and energy. You can always create energy to give that person something back that they may need. And you don't know if that one day you speak to that one person, that may just save their life, you know. And I can promise you, hand on heart, I don't know if my friend's on here right now, Loic, but we've got a story that we could tell you regarding a guy that we helped on the side of a mountain. That was just one of them where we asked if he was all right, and actually he was stuck on the side of a mountain and he was about 20 feet from dying. And all we did was ask if he was all right. And that was it. So it really does show off. It does really just pay off to just ask that one person, or send that one really nice message, or if you've not spoke to someone in ages, that nice message to say they're doing fantastic and that you're there for them. One of the big things that I really have worked on over the past 2 years is this was, believe it or not, the giving up the drugs and the alcohol. When I turned it into a must, it became pretty easy. Like, I just changed my environment, I changed my actions of what I did, but this bit was pretty difficult for me. And I've worked on this for the last year and a half, nearly 2 years. And now I've got it down to a T, and I love it. And Again, like I say, same as what I do in the morning. I just send someone saying, good night, love you, have a great sleep. Doesn't matter who that is. Could be my mum, could be my girlfriend, could be a family member, could be anybody, could just be a friend of mine. And then from there, I have a set finish time for work. Unless I've got something really important to do, I always try and switch my phone off or finish work at anything between 7 and 8 o'clock. And there's quite a lot of important things about this for me in person, is that I would like to give myself that time to relax and wind down without being on my phone, talking to people about work, talking to people about other stuff. Now, understandably, if somebody's texted me or rung me and said they really need my help, well, that goes out the window, understandably, because that's one of my main important things that I do. But the other factor is it gives me the opportunity to spend it with the people that I'm there with. So I used to be on the phone all the time, and now I don't. So example, my phone goes on silent when I'm with people, or I give that person or them people the time that they deserve. And that also goes for myself. And then get as much sleep as I can. I really do love this bit. Like, I never used to sleep for more than 3 or 4 hours a day. Like, I used to really struggle with this. And now I'm getting up to 8 to 9 hours a day. Now, some people may say, hey, I can't get that amount of sleep. Well, I think you can, to be brutally honest. I'm going to call anybody out on this. You know, I look after 13 businesses. I have an amazing girlfriend, and I still manage to just kind of go, right, okay, I'm going to sleep at this time. You know, I understand if people have got kids and they've got to get up in the night and the newborns, then I understand that this potentially is a little bit of an issue. But as much as you can get, rest and recovery and sleep is the main important thing for anybody. Like, the science behind sleep is huge. One of the books that I would recommend anybody listening to, or a podcast, and I can find the podcast at some point for you and give it to Phil or Hans, it's called Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. He's a British guy that did brain neurology and still does for the last 22 years of his life. And it's a fascinating actual read, or it's a fascinating listen. And his podcast just blew me away about how important sleep was. And this is definitely 100% like changed my life at the end, without fail. That's kind of come to the end of the routines, rituals, and habits right now. Understandably, if people have got questions, like, I'm more than happy to answer them. I know there's some questions maybe in the chat box for now. One of the things that I want to say is best things are about to come in life. So for me, if somebody asks me now, like, hey, where do you want to be in 5 years? I would say I want to be me, but even better in 5 years. And then in 5 years' time, I want to be me again, but even better in 5 years. And it's always kind of like a 5-year or a 3-year or a 1-year project for me in my head, depending on what I want to do at the time. But one of the things that I did in 2021 with a lady called Kate Lindsley and a friend of mine called Gary Bradshaw is we set up this charity called Uplift, supporting skydiving. And it's a big part of what I'm trying to push right now, which is it's a charity to support people with mental health. And that could be anything from depression, anxiety, drug and alcohol addiction, suicide thoughts or suicide attempts. And what we did is we spoke to British Skydiving. And originally, and I'm very happy to say that British Skydiving are on board now, which is fantastic. And we actually contacted Aviva, which is one of our insurance companies for our skydiving insurance through Remuros, and we managed to get a hotline, an emergency 24-hour hotline, which is only unfortunately right now for British skydivers. And you can become a British skydiving member and you can get access to this if you would like. And that's not a sales plug, by the way. But it's just a big, massive thing that we're trying to push, that people in the sport know that they have some support, and if they can't afford to go and see a counsellor, or if they can't afford to see a psychiatrist, or they can't afford to see these people in the future, that we will have this support, and we have got this support right now to give them straight away for free of charge. As a British skydiving member, you get free counselling sessions up to 5 times. So you can go and see the counsellor for 5 times. The hotline is 24 hours a day, and that the specialists from the Priory. So I'm really, really proud of me and Kate and Gary, for especially me and Kate, for pushing this issue, and it's now been just accepted from British Skydiving, and we're wanting to roll it out over to the other sides of the world, like Australia right now, hopefully Belgium, Germany, Holland, France, wherever we want to roll this out, and potentially, set it up where people in them countries can set this charity up as well, and give a lot of support in skydiving for anybody struggling with mental health, and just being a support network. And we talk a lot in skydiving about being a family, and I really feel like when it comes to this part of being a family, we don't talk enough about it. I really feel like this is the one part of our sport that really needs to be kind of like put out there, telling people that there is support out there, telling people that it's going to be okay. It doesn't matter what it is. But this is a great big passion of mine. Just to let you know, I lost 7 friends before I decided to do this, to suicide. And one of them was nearly me as well. So that would have been 8. So please get it out there. Please help people out there. And please, if you want to contact me, you're more than happy to contact. I'm more than happy for you to contact me directly. And just to go on that, I have spoke to your governing body, and these are the numbers that we managed to get up that right now you can get help with in Belgium and the Netherlands right now. So if you want them numbers, I believe they're in the chat box. And if you need any help with this, you can contact Phil, I think. Is that correct, Phil? Yeah. Phil on this, or anybody, I believe, from the governing body. Okay. So have we got any questions? Thank you very much for listening to me talking for 41 minutes. So have we got any questions, and would anybody like to ask me any questions face to face on the chat?
Well, actually, I got one, I think, rather personal question,
Okay.
Taf, is whether you can please turn the water tap on the shower to warm again after you use it.
Nope. The answer to that is nope. In fairness, one of the things that you can do, which is very good as well, which is getting a warm shower to start with, and then start to build up to the cold shower. Now, sometimes I do this. Sometimes if I'm having a shave, trust me, it's very hard to stand in a cold shower and have a shave. So I have a warm shower first while I'm having a shave, and then I stand under the cold shower for like 3 to 4 minutes. And the kind of science behind it is that it's shocking your body so much that it actually just brings your energy levels so high. It's unreal. It's absolutely, it's beautiful when you get out that shower and you've completed that stone cold shower. And bear in mind, I live in the north of England, so the water is pretty cold. So yeah, in answer to your question, Phil, no. Have we got any questions?
Up until now, no. I think.
Okay.
Oh, more that.
Question.
Yeah, Gerrit, no, it's not a question, but actually one of the participants said that he has the utmost respect for what you have done and are still doing to yourself, and the amount of guts it must have taken you to start talking about this in public.
Thank you very much, whoever that was. Yes, thank you very much. And like I say, one of the reasons why I'm doing it, and one of the reasons why I'm talking out about it, is because if just off this one seminar or off what I've done in the past 2 years, like I've had a documentary made about me on BBC, British Broadcasting Company. I've done, this is the 4th seminar right now that I've done. If I can just change someone's life and save that person's life, or they can save somebody else's life, then the world is just going to be a way better place. And if I can get people to talk, especially men, then thank you. That's all I can say to that.
Another question, Taf. Well, you have been doing some serious skydiving before you turned sober.
Yeah.
And you continued afterwards. Is there a difference between your skydiving experiences before and after the change you made to your life?
100%. 100%.
And in what sense?
So I'm going to just talk about this. Actually, a very good question. That I'm taught this in a really massive way as well, in just life, as in the way I feel. My brain is more switched on. It's just way clearer. You know, I've done competitive skydiving for a very long time. You know, I've been very fortunate and very grateful to travel the world circuit doing 4-way and nationals and stuff like that. And there's many a times that I used to struggle with visualization and remembering the skydives and the points. And now I just don't struggle with it. And I see more. It's like the whole world is just opened up. My awareness of life and skydiving especially is like, it's just like gone, boom. Somebody's just hit a switch in my brain and I'm like, wow, okay. Like I actually see that. I can judge things a lot better. Everything's just clear. It's like somebody's just lifted a misty pair of glasses off like this, or put a pair of glasses on, either way. So, you know, either way you look at it, like everything's just so much clearer.
And what does it do to the peaks and troughs that you talked about, which are caused by skydiving, where you say the highs and the lows?
Okay, so the highs and the lows for me now are very much about, like, how can I put it? I'm trying to word this in the correct manner. So for me personally now, I still get a high, really amazing buzz from skydiving. But when I go home now, all I want to do realistically is sleep, because I'm like, hey, that was amazing. And I want to keep that energy of skydiving, and I want to do it again sometime, and I want to remember that time as well. And that's how I use that, instead of going, oh, I need to get that high again, you know. And then also what I tend to do is, if I'm going in a bit of a rut, like say I've done, how can I put it? Say I've done 10 skydives in a day, say I'm doing AFF, or if I'm team training, like my objective then will be like, right, my mindset is, I want to do that again. So how much rest do I get? You know, and I change the thought process of what I do. And I talk to, you know, believe it or not, people say the first sign of going insane is when you talk to yourself. I actually think the first sign of being sane is talking to yourself, because you have to talk to yourself a lot, because your subconscious will start talking to you about, oh, I want that high again. So how am I going to get it? I'm going to go and get this. You know, I'm going to go and have a drink, or I'm going to have whatever you want to do to try and get the high. But for me, I just now go, my high is life. My high is pure life. Like I am so high on life. Like my energy is so high anyway now, that like people would think that I would be on drugs. Like people would honestly go, are you on drugs? And I'm like, hey, when I used to take drugs, I was dead quiet. I'd go, that would be me on drugs. So I'm so energetic in life and high on life. It's just beautiful. And if you want to go into a little bit more of that kind of concept of what I believe is the reasons why we're chasing it, is I believe that when we start skydiving, every skydiver has a trauma that they are dealing with in real life, that they are trying to run away from. They are trying to get a high from. And skydiving, in my opinion, is a big high. Now, you can go and do whatever it is, no matter what it is. You want to go and do a belly jump, you want to go and do a tandem skydive, example, for my mum. You want to go and do an AFF jump, you want to be in an AFF, you want to, any skydive, four-way, free fly, tracking jump, you want to go and do an angle fly jump where you're going like 900 mile an hour, you want to go flocking where you've got 6 to 10, 12 canopies in the sky and you're doing loads of stuff. That adrenaline that you are pumping into your body right now is huge. And that is, my opinion, what we're all looking for. We're all looking for that next high. That's why we've started doing, in my opinion, more dangerous things in skydiving. Like, prime example, flocking's not been around for very long, and it's a very dangerous sport. It's a very dangerous thing, and we're all looking for that next high. And then when we don't get that high, as a human, we're trying to figure out how to get it. So we then go for other things. We go for, alcohol, we go for drugs. Some people, believe it or not, who I've dealt with, sex, sex addictions, because it's another high, it's another drive. It's trying to get rid of that trauma, that inner trauma in yourself that we are dealing with from a childhood or work. And I really do feel from the research that I've done that everybody in this room is probably dealing with some inner trauma from the past. And that's one of the reasons why we skydive. That, again, that is my opinion. If people want to question me on it, I'm more than happy to have a discussion about it. Has anybody got any other questions? Yep, go on, Philip.
You're still muted, Philip.
Do you feel that skydivers are avoiding emotions? So not talking about them, but pretending to be strong about everything?
Personally, yes. Personally, I struggled with my ego, my self-esteem. I massively had self-esteem problems, huge self-esteem problems. One of the reasons why I got into skydiving as well. And it's because of the fact that, my ego was getting the better of me. I'm tough. I've done this and I can do that. And yeah, I'm going to get into skydiving because it's cool. Realistically, no, I was getting into skydiving because I was trying to run away from drugs and alcohol. I was trying to lose weight, but I didn't tell anybody that. I was like, yeah, skydiving's cool, so I'm going to get into it, And I honestly think that, I can put my neck on the line here and people can tell me I'm pretty much wrong. But there's so many egos in this sport, without fail, and also there's a lot of people without egos, by the way, I want to get that out there as well. But there's so many egos in this sport that's why I think so many people are running away from the life in the normal life and then going into skydiving. Does that answer your question, Phil?
I think that answers the question of the person.
Oh, did I go on a bit of a tangent?
No, not at all, not at all. But I think that's an answer to the person that asked the questions.
Okay, for those who want to ask me, I will. Yeah, anybody else?
Well, someone is saying that skydiving for him is just fun, not running away for some trauma. Okay,
cool. Well, everybody has a different opinion on what the side is, and if people, I'm trying to, for me, it's like, I know that a lot of people in skydiving, personally, in fact, in life, are running away from traumas, you know, and I apologize if I've upset anybody by saying that, you know, but that is my opinion on a lot of stuff on that. And it's, for me, I've just done a lot of research on it. And if anybody wants to listen to a book that I'm actually listening to right now, which is called Taf Mather, Scattered Minds, it talks about ADHD and ADD. And then it's another one called Taf Mather, The Body Keeps Score. And that one's all about trauma. And The Body Keeps Score, believe it or not, he brings skydiving up as a trauma release. So, you know, and if you're having a great time, because I love skydiving, because otherwise I wouldn't have bought a drop zone. Because, you know, we don't make that much money out of drop zones. You know, I'm glad that people are having fun in skydiving. That's what skydiving should be all about. I agree with you.
I have another good question from in the chat. Do you have any advice on how to address someone on that person's alcohol or drug consumption?
Okay, so this is quite a big one, actually. So thank you very much for that question. One of the things that, if you're spotting somebody that you feel has got a drug or an alcohol addiction, one of the biggest things that I would say to anybody is not trying to force them to stop. Like, the biggest thing that happened to me was that when people were saying you have an alcohol addiction, you need to stop, you need to do it, you just need to stop it, it's dead easy. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I'd just crack on and probably do even more. So the advice I would give you is, when you spot it, just say to them, hey, I'm here if you want to speak about, like, maybe you feel like you're drinking a bit too much. And if you say, no, I'm not drinking too much, say, okay, I'm just saying, I'm here if you want to talk about anything. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter, you know, and just say, remember that I'm here. And then that's all it needs to be. And I've done that with so many different people, by the way. Like, in the last 2 years of doing this, I've probably done that with about 15 or 20 people, where I've just said, hey, you know, if you feel like you want to talk about drink, then come and talk to me. And they've said, I don't need to talk to you. And then 3 or 4 months down the line, they've made that phone call and said, yeah, you know what, I have got an alcohol problem and I just want to talk to you about it. So the one advice would be, just tell them that you're there. And do not, please do not, anyone who's listening, please do not try and force someone to stop, because all they will do is rebel. And I can promise you that. And I don't know if my mum is still on, and you can even ask her directly if you want, and you can put her off mute, and she will agree and say, when she tried to make me stop, I rebelled and did it even more.
Okay, I think that answers the question. Another question is from Kat. It says, is there anything we should be looking out for in other skydivers to make sure we can help them with this? Because, well, when you were still in it, you were the life of parties, so people may not even have realized that what you were going through.
Yes, exactly. And I think people do realize it. I think some people do realize it. I think everybody understands when you're watching somebody drink themselves to a point that they can't cope, or you know, and then all of a sudden they're doing really stupid things. I mean, if you ask some of my friends some of the things that I did, it becomes, you can kind of see it, in my opinion, again, from people. And you know, I think when people get, how can I word this? When people get to a point where they know they want to stop and they have a problem, they become very quiet and just keep drinking. Or they want to just be the life and soul of the party, but realistically, deep down inside, they're dying inside, you know, and they have got major problems. And And that bit, again, it reverts back to that. If you see that you feel like somebody's got a little issue, or you feel like someone's not the same, then just ask them. Just be honest and just say, "Are you all right?" Like, or this pretty much the easiest thing you can do. I hope that answers the question.
I think so, yes.
I don't know which calf that was, but maybe it's one of my friends.
I think so.
I think it might be Catherine Leather.
It is. She says.
Oh, it is. Has anybody else got any calf? Oh, sorry. Has anybody got any other questions?
I can't see any more in the chat. Oh. Yeah. Well, I think Deborah just says anyone who has a problem with drugs or drink need to recognize it. They have a problem.
Yes, they do, mother. But it's not that easy. That's my mum, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, understandably they do. You know, have to realize they have a problem, but it's also not as simple as just realizing you've got a problem and to stop it. It's about the moving forward, and that's what we were talking about in the seminar, about how to stop it and how to prevent it and how to move forward. But I just want to say thank you very much for being there for my mum as well. Yeah.
And actually, I do know this is also happening in our federation. The reason why I asked you to have this talk, and I'll come to the other question afterwards.
Oh, sorry, I've just
No. Wait, I'm just going to finish. So I know it is happening in our federation as well.
Yeah.
I certainly would urge anyone who is recognizing this in himself or in his friends just to talk to them about it. I don't want to go into any repressive mode. I just want people to talk about it and do something about it, because I think what you certainly show is that it will change your life in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's certainly one of the main takeaways that I have from this today. Well, on a more fun note, Nick is asking, how did skydiving help in losing weight for you? Because Nick has been unsuccessful for that for a few years now. So how did skydiving make you lose weight?
So skydiving made me lose weight because I had to get to the weight to be doing AFF. So in the UK, we have a set weight. I don't know about in Belgium, but we have a set weight that you have to get to. Mm-hmm. And that is 15 stone, thereabouts. And that made me get...
What's that in kilos? Because stones...
Sorry. I think it's 91 kilos, I think, something. Let me just check. Let me just check. Hang on, sorry.
95. I quickly looked it up.
95, is it?
Yeah, 95.
Yeah, so that's how it started for me. And then one of the big things that I did is I joined the team. And when you got 3 other people relying on you to lose some weight, you all of a sudden start kicking it in. And if you've ever been in a team, then it's quite important that when you set a weight or you get to a weight goal, then you start working towards that weight. The more jumping you do, also gets you losing weight, because I also think that skydiving, well, I've also done some research on weight loss in skydiving as you're actually doing it, and you actually do lose, you do burning quite a lot of calories over the day, especially when you're packing. So yeah, that's how skydiving helped me lose weight. It was more of a motivation and a drive to get to a set weight, to then be on a team, to then be to lose more weight again after that. I hope that answers your question, and I apologize for skipping over it, by the way.
No, actually, because now there's a small argument going on. Someone else says, well, I have 3 teammates who are relying on me to gain weight. And I know Vinny, He's the thin one from Four-way.
Which team's he on?
What's their name again?
Full flow. Full flow.
Full flow. Yeah.
Well, Vinny,
with
it's dead easy for you, bro, because you just put weight belt on. But I also do know that is I don't really, I've never really worn a weight belt except doing big ways. And I do really know, Vinny, by the way, that it is uncomfortable for you, especially when you're doing a lot of jumps, or it's just uncomfortable wearing a weight belt. So I agree. So maybe you have an agreement with your teammates that they come down to your weight as well, you know, and get, I mean, I don't know what you weigh. Please don't tell me you weigh like 54 kilos or something. And it's like,
so.
You know,
it's a bit more than that. Yeah.
Okay. Phil, are you in his team by any chance?
No.
It's good that people are now engaging. It's great. Want to trade places? You can come and live in England if you want, buddy.
Yeah, actually, because Nick says, well, I could swap out with Vinny in his team. Okay.
Thank you so much for your info. Oh man, yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for first of all spending the time. I know it's late, 9 o'clock in Belgium, and I must admit it's an honor. It's a real honor for you all to come and listen to me talk. And like I say, you know, big it up to the Belgian Federation for actually giving me the opportunity to talk. Hans, thank you for coming to my second seminar in less than 2 weeks. And yeah, I just want to send my love and care to everybody out there, and please be safe. And I really appreciate you all. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, Taf, thanks a lot. And to all of you out there, please take away the positive message that Taf gave to us. And well, if you observe this behavior in yourself or into someone else, well, don't stand by, but reach out and offer help. And that's the best thing you can do. Thank you very much. And have a pleasant evening.
Sorry, Phil, I'm just gonna put my Facebook name into the chat box. So that is my actual Facebook name on there. And I want to say, if anybody wants to contact me privately, they can do. And if they need any help in the future, please do so. English is my only language, unfortunately. So yeah, I just wanted to put that in there.
I haven't. I don't think it's turning up in the chat yet, Taf.
Yeah, it's there.
Probably you don't have it set to send to everyone. That's right.
Oh, it's just direct message. Oh, I don't know. I don't get that.
You have to put it everybody. It's actually the top choice in drop down box. So to everybody.
Everybody. There we go. Is that the one? I think.
Yeah. Try again.
Hang on. There you go. Is that better? Nope. Oh my God. Right. I think I might just keep skydiving and.
But we will make a small note after this presentation as well, where we send out the information. We will include it in the quote unquote show notes. Yeah,
and I'll also, if you don't mind, I'll give you the uplift supporting skydiving charity page and website and Facebook page as well, so you can contact us through that as well if you need any help in anything at all. Please don't hesitate to ask.
Okay,
thank you so much, everybody. I am now going to go and get some dinner. I really appreciate you all. I'm super grateful for you all coming. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks,
Thank
Taf.
you for your talk. Thank you.
Enjoy your meal.
Oh, I will.
Everyone.